And as soon as I turned it on, sure enough, coolant was just pouring out of it, and it was so stupid.
To absolutely nobody.
Life is as great as it seems. You're living my wildest dreams. You're counting my money in green. I got money in the
What's up, YouTube? So it's been a few days now. I got the rest of my wiring finally done and stuff like that. You might have noticed it in the last video when I had everything done with the catch can and the fittings and stuff like that for the intake. So yeah, now what I'm doing is just trying to get the catch can set up in the car and then run a PTFE line from the filler neck down to the catch can. I got it mounted in the front of the car. I'll show you that in a second. And then I need to put on a new O-ring for the Vangean inlet on my intake and get that on there with the intake air temperature sensor. And then just finally get the car like dialed in or set up the way that I need it to be. I did notice that I have my throttle cable set up slightly off to where it wasn't opening the throttle 100% fully. So I got that adjusted, so now I need to spend some time readjusting the idle on it. Here's what I have so far. This is basically how it's gonna be ran. The new PTFE line that I'm making, it's gonna come right off here and drop down, and I'm gonna have it follow the upper radiator hose down to the overflow can right here. So it'll mount right at the bottom. I'm gonna have zip ties holding in there so it keeps it nice and tidy, and then it'll just fall off and go into a straight right there at the can. So this way it's kind of tucked under here a little bit, and I can still access the can to open it up. And like I was saying before, I want to have everything set up to where I don't have to move anything or change very much at all once I eventually get all the boost stuff. Don't get all excited and hyped up about I'm going boost, because I'm not doing it anytime soon. It's just plans. I'm just keeping everything set up for the future. But I'm gonna have a rear mount set up, so the header will come over here and the turbo will sit right in the back, and the charge pipe off the turbo will come straight down and around that upper hose and into the intercooler right here at the top. So that's why I'm keeping all of that area clear and free right there. And then intake, of course, will be ran just the same way that I have it right now. It'll drop down and come around to the other side of the intercooler. So you notice, like, once I make that change, everything will be simple and hardly anything have to be changed. So that way I can just go from this engine to the boosted engine, and it's a really quick and easy swap, because I still want to have two setups like that. So it's a big goal, kind of far-fetched for most, but I don't intend to get rid of this thing anytime soon, so that's really how I want to do it. But yeah, now I need to just finish up that line. Need to get the other fitting on here. I got it marked off, so that's what I'm gonna do next. Put that other fitting on there, connect the can, clean up the zip ties the way that I want it, and have it ran like that. And you can also see how tidy the engine harness is on the car. And like I was saying, you don't really see much of it at all. At first, with it laid out, you know, all the little yellow tags on it really did stand out a lot, but it doesn't stand out very much. I mean, the main tag, that stands out, but besides that, it's pretty subtle in there. Keeps it nice and close to the engine. So yeah, that's a worthwhile investment. All right, now let me get this line done. line all finished. I had to cut some of the end off here just to make it a little bit easier to slide the fitting on. But it's all done now. So I'm gonna throw that in the car. Should be a nice little sleek line. And then I'll throw some more zip ties on the upper radiator hose just to keep this nice and close to it. I just don't want it all spaced out and dangling all over the place.
I really want to zip tie it up because I don't want it right there on the counterweight on the transmission. Alright, now that's all squared away. You see how I have that ran. Just 4 little zip ties on it. And it drops off right at the bottom, right into the can.
Try to keep it simple. So it's, when you look at the bay like this, you know, pop the hood, just look straight on. It doesn't really stand out. It doesn't distract you or anything. Can is still functional. And everything's smooth and out of the way. Like that. So it's been all these years without an overflow can, and it runs perfectly fine like that, but now I have the can as a just in case. And the way I did that was to not have the coolant like full to the max. That way the coolant can expand within itself without just overflowing all over the place once the setup is under pressure. So if you were trying to run it without an overflow can like I have, you got to keep that in mind when you set it up. But there we are, now we have the can. I didn't like the line that originally came with that can. It was crap because they give you like this terrible hose that doesn't really fit over the nipple at the bottom. So then once you fill it up, coolant just comes right out. I had it on my setup when I very first did my K-swap. I had it mounted up here, and as soon as I turned it on, sure enough, coolant was just pouring out of it, and it was so stupid. And then I couldn't find a hose that I liked really. So then I just decided to run without it until I could set the can up the way I really wanted it, which is with the AN fittings on it and everything like that. So now it's nice, secure, simple, everything matches. Well, there we are. Next thing I gotta do is throw this on. I needed to get a new O-ring for the Vengeance setup. I finally got those in. So now I'm gonna re-lube this O-ring, lube the one that's on the throttle body. Then I can put the whole Vengeance setup back together. That's the little compression clamp and the clamp that tightens down on it. This is not the HD clamp. This is the original one they were using. So I can get the intake back on. Now that I have that bung welded on there, and connect the IAT. And you see it doesn't really get in the way. It's just enough to read the temperature. And then there we are. Then I get a nice filter and all that stuff set up, and it'll drop right down in the corner, so it'll be picking up nice cool air from the wheel well. The car should run a bit smoother. Then I got to spend some time getting the idle set up again, since I adjusted the throttle body some to where it'll open up fully. So as quick as the car was driving, I technically wasn't getting full throttle. So this should be fun. Can't wait to get this thing on the dyno eventually. I have no idea when I'm going to get on the dyno, but hopefully sometime soon, if I can get a hold of a nice dyno place somewhere or in someone I trust to tune the car again. But I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Ecosh Production.
All right, so everything's working good. Car's running good, sounding good, and everything like that. Got the throttle all sorted out and stuff. And next thing, I got hit up by this company called NAO or Now. I don't know how they say it. I don't know. They were Chinese. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, they sent me some LED headlight bulbs and asked me to do a little review video. So that's what's coming next. I've been running the regular halogen lights in my CTR headlights for years now, mostly because I don't want to blind people with the CTR headlights because they don't have that cover over the light bulb. But I figure I'll try these things out. LED is supposed to be like daylight temperature, so we'll see how they work. I'll see you guys in the next one.